What's up, everybody? Happy. May I be one of the first to say happy 4th of July to all of you. We're recording this on the Monday night, so it will drop on Tuesday, the 4th of July, if you're watching it out the gate. Welcome into another episode of Living the Guard Life. I'm Jacob. That's Nick. Below us is Roger First and Cuyahoga Falls. We are brought to you by our friends over at Homage Apparel. You can check them out. Their awesome Guardians collection. There's a link in the description down below. It's softest shirts on the planet. That's like, I know that like that's what I say every week. I'm like, these are soft, amazing shirts. But the fact is, those are the facts. And so I'm giving you the facts the way you would want them. So if you're new here, guys, hit that subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Tell your friends about us. I know that you're probably gonna be like, hey, these guys, they're a bunch of baboons and they're talking about baseball. I don't care what you say. Just tell people about us, you know? And then they can come over here. If you want to join the Discord, the Discord, is that the word? Discord? If you want to join the Discord, there's a link in the description down below. We're giving away a lot of really awesome bets and stuff for $10 a month. You'll get it back. Like you will earn your money back in no time. So there's all that going on. Gentlemen, how are we on this holiday?
Hi. So we're in the middle of a 4-2 rally. We scored 2 runs. We're on the board. It was 4-0. So for those of us who are listening, hopefully by the time you're listening to the show, the Guardians had another win. We'll see where they're at. I like the fact that we're going to be able to give you little live updates. And I just want to update everybody on what we said on last week's episode, because I don't feel like we gave everybody the window and the notice of our Andres Gimenez bobblehead giveaway. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend it by 1 week. And so we'll have updates for you on how to win and how to enter a little bit later on. How are you, Roger?
Fellas, I missed you last week, man. I had a big cookout. We at my sister's house hosted like just neighborhood family and friends that we've known forever. And man, it was a fun time. And I missed the show. Right now, I'm getting ready. After the show tonight, we're going to celebrate the Guardians' win.
Ooh.
Chooch talked me into some fireworks.
Okay.
Jack to Chooch, and so we went and got some. And we got some Roman candles. We got jumping jacks, whisker biscuits, cherry chasers, flash chasers, whistlers, bottle rockets, and Roman candles right here, man. So we're ready to go.
Happy Independence
Day. And you're allowed to buy them. You're allowed to have them. You're just not allowed to light them in Cuyahoga Falls. So I'm going to take them out in the field behind down an undisclosed location and set them on some concrete, and hopefully that they just combustion. They just go. So that's my hope.
If you guys see fire trucks running down to Cuyahoga Falls, you know why. If Roger set a field on fire behind his house.
Yep.
Something like that.
It's probably... Guys, the last time it was me and Nick, like we said, because Roger wasn't here last week, but the last time we conveyed 2 weeks ago, I'm going to take this conversation back a couple of episodes.
Wow. Yeah.
In which the Guardians were coming off of a 2-4 road trip before they came home in this past couple weeks ago. And we said, you got to find ways to win some games on the road so you can balance it out with protecting your home field. So they go 4-2 in the homestand. Then they go on the road against Kansas City and Chicago, very winnable series. They go 4-2 in those series. So you're looking at 8-4. Going into this situation with the game that's currently going on against a Braves team that's just ridiculously good. So we have had this conversation pre-game as well that, you know, this is a really, really good Braves team. But you're looking at 4-2 road trip after we had just had this conversation. Really, it should have been a 5-1 road trip. You should have swept Kansas City, especially after Jose steals from home. And just some issues. Yeah, I don't even I'm so upset about that. You know, so they go and they do. Nick will be right back. He's handling the situation. But they're able to finally figure out a way to get a winning road trip at 4-2 and really put themselves up going into tonight's game with Atlanta, 1 game under 500, right there at first place in the division. And I just think that you can't understate the importance, rather it's against good teams or not, of winning games on the road.
Absolutely, Jacob. And I was thinking about this today, especially when it came to Emmanuel Class A, and I wrote 1,800 words on why winning at home and going 500 on the road is so important. I even involved Captain Kirk in the article. And if you remember that one, and it's vitally important. And the thing about Tito Francona teams are, when it's all said and done, 7 out of 10 seasons, he's finished over 500 at home and 500 on the road. Last year, we were 11 games over 500 at home and on the road last year, which we got hot at the end of the year. That was a little bit of an, you're not going to do that every year. But they're on pace to get back to that. And that's the winning formula in baseball. You go 500 on the road and win at home. And I started breaking, I'm not just looking at a series. I'm definitely not looking at one ball game. People that do that, our friend Chuck, die every night or every other day. I'm not even looking at series, but I'm looking at entire road trips and start doing the numbers on that like you did with the 4-2. Okay, this is what we got. This is where we need to be by July 19th. And take a look at this. You know what I mean? And that's how you do it. I think we're gonna bounce back and forth, 1-2 games above, 1-2 games below. I think we're gonna bounce back and forth in the division lead like that up until August, and then I think that's when we're gonna start to pull away. So.
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to talk about real quick, kind of off the top, talking about this road trip, I wanted to talk about Gavin Williams, and we're even going to touch on Gavin Williams' start that is taking place tonight against the Braves in Game 1 of that series, because I think it's important for that as well. But Gavin Williams, we talked about it a while ago, after his major league debut, that he went out there and he battled. Well, Gavin Williams goes on the road in Kansas City, and he goes 7 innings of one-hit baseball. Like, that's your second, and I get it. Kansas City is not a good baseball team. We get that. But you're looking at a dude that had to really grit and battle in his major league debut. He goes on the road. He goes 7 innings today against Atlanta. He goes 6 1/3?
Yes. I think so, yeah.
6 1/3. 6 1/3 of 4-run baseball. And really the only thing the biggest issue was he left 3 hangers that got just absolutely tattooed. And I was telling the guys here, I said, you realize that the 9-hitter crushed it for Atlanta. And I was listening to Hammy at the beginning of the game, and he's like, do you realize that their 9-hole hitter, Atlanta's 9-hole hitter, is the reigning NL Rookie of the Year? Just so we're clear. And I'm like, yeah, that team's ridiculous. But this is the thing I really wanted to say about Gavin Williams, and you guys can take it from there. It's very clear that he has the stuff. Like those pitches, the break, his issue in his first start was he was just not locating his fastball, especially his fastball. So he wasn't striking batters out. He wasn't, getting some of the swings and the misses that he was getting in the minor leagues. And then he started locating them again in that second start, and he throws a 1-hitter, for over 7 innings. But it's very evident that once he gets the command and the confidence and the experience, Gavin Williams has got ace-level stuff somewhere down the road. And I don't think it's this year. I'm not saying anything crazy, but I'm saying, like, if you're looking at Gavin Williams and in turn Tristan McKenzie as a reason why you're okay if Shane Bieber walks, I think you should feel confident in that.
You know what I'll say? You mentioned the 1-hit Gavin Williams gave up in the 7 innings. One of the few times, I think Sage Roger has been preaching patience this whole time, and I think as a show we have as well. But it's been a lot easier to be patient because of their recent success, I think. But one of the few times that I was actually frustrated was when it looked like the Guardians were going to give up that game where Gavin did only allow a hit. And he didn't get the win, which felt unfair to me. But I think that game is a great example of just how dominant he can be. And so that's really exciting to me. And you won't find many teams that can lose. So entering the year, you would have said Tristan McKenzie is right there with Shane Bieber. I think you could say that the two of them were really close. And so to lose that type of guy and to still be, flirting in and out of first place, I'm encouraged by that. That's where I'm at. It's a good place to be.
You know what, man? I sit and I watch, and you bring up young kids, be it a pitcher or position player, and they're lighting up AAA. they're actually really have nothing left to prove there, but to get more minutes there. You know what I mean? And then they come up to the big leagues. And you said their 9-hole hitter for Atlanta was the rookie of the year. When you're playing when you're at AAA level and you come up, it's like every AAA hitter you face, like the best hitter on every team, that's major league lineup.
Everybody.
You know what I mean? Every one of them is better than 8 of the 9 guys you face every night. It's just a whole different ball game. Where do you think that expression comes from, man? It's a big jump. It's a whole different ball game. Andy will tell you, Ross will tell you, baseball is hard. I read a thing today. Mickey Mantle played 18 years, and he said if you counted up that you take 500 swings a year, he said that over his 18 years, he spent 7 of them that he never hit the baseball. 7 years of Mickey Mantle's. After you do the math, he didn't get a hit over 7 years of the 18. Wow. You know what I mean? Baseball is hard, man. It takes a while, and what it is when you make. Gavin Williams had a great performance his first outing. Hitters adjust. They hit him the next time out. Now he's got to make the next adjustment, and that's what baseball is. It's a game within the game, a game of adjustments. Constantly, man. It's constant. It's a lot more work and a lot more physically and mentally demanding than pitching and being the ace in Columbus.
Well, I will point out, don't look now, but Jimenez just missed making it a 1-run game. We have another.
I see that. He's coming off right at the corner where the left field wall, where the
if he could have just hooked it a little bit more to a more shallow part of the field,
just short. But
man,
still, I mean, you've got a guy on second with 1 out.
Well, we got a guy on second with 2 outs, but whatever.
Oh,
these young kids are going toe for toe right now. Look at the Braves, man. The Braves,
they're fighting.
They're fighting, and they do it every night.
And that's the best part, man, isn't it?
Yeah.
They go out there and they fight, and outside of that first game against the Cubs, we don't need to. We'll have to talk about that first game against the Cubs in which they struggled, but outside of that, like it feels like, and I'd have to look at the scores, but it feels like over the last probably 2-3 weeks or so, especially like we said, 8-4 in the last 4 series, I think over that time, you've really felt like they're in about every game. Even the 4 that they lost outside. Well, I should say 3 of the losses because that Cubs game, we had did David Fry, was he the one that threw an inning of relief against the Cubs?
Yeah.
He threw all sliders too, which was like my favorite thing in the world. He threw like 5 sliders. I was like, all right, here we go. But it's just fun, man. Like, I don't know that they're World Series contenders. They're going to have to make moves if they want to be. But this is fun baseball. And you know what? If they get hot like they did last year, who knows?
Who knows,
they
man?
got some really good players. Good.
Beware of the hot team in October. Just get to October, man, and look out if you're the hot team. Everybody look out, teams could be injury plagued. Teams can be, just so much can happen. Just get there, man.
I'll tell you what. Jacob wouldn't let me use my first place Guardians prediction, which would have technically they're tied for first place today. Is that pending this result, right? So they did take first place again, and they've been right there. The Twins are still struggling. I still see no reason why the division. I bet on the Guardians to win the division. I feel good about it. I feel good about it today, and that's all you really need. You just need to get there, and then who knows? Baseball's fun like that, man.
Let me excuse me. Let me switch sports for just a second and talk about like getting hot at the right time. Aaron Rodgers has a Super Bowl because he got hot at the right time.
Right.
Not because they had the best team in football. Eli Manning beat the perfect Patriots because they got hot in the playoffs.
Right.
Remember Joe Flacco's Super Bowl in which he was like elite Joe Flacco in the playoffs? Yeah. Just get there, man. You guys are right. Just freaking get there. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy a summer. Let's have fun. Let's get to October and let's get weird and dance without pants on.
Well, wow. That was Jacob, you're funny.
I don't know where we're at right now.
But I just want to mention you talk about how they fight the whole time, and you talk about the battle that they have. I mean, last night was a perfect example of that, right? They had a lead, blew it, and so once again, you're in extras. It feels like the Guardians play more games that go extra innings than. But anyway, Josh Naylor finds a way. All stars should be, by the way. Snub. I don't know how Josh Naylor. I don't want to get too big on the grandstand right now, but that's robbery. It's robbery. Yeah. Josh Naylor is up there in every category. I saw somebody combined RBIs over the last 2 years, basically last season and this season combined, and Josh Naylor's in the top 5. And I don't understand. It feels so disrespectful to me. I feel like I would love to see Josh get that recognition, especially with his story of battling back from injury and just to the level that he's playing now. I feel like he deserves a lot better.
I absolutely agree. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I think the different people at first base hurts him a little bit where, he's not really recognized as your, everyday out running it out there at first base. No ifs, ands, or buts. You know what I mean? I think that hurts him, but he absolutely deserves it, man. And it's such a popularity contest. If you've watched Emmanuel Class A this year, other than he's leading baseball with saves. I can't do the math on that. He just, I don't even want to talk bad. He's just human right now. He's just human right now, and I'm not going to get on him. He's just, I think, because he's always been lights out. And it was just automatic. It was like when he came into the ball game, it was over. And now they're hitting him. They can hit him. He's not fooling anybody, and he's certainly not blowing it by anybody, on a consistent basis. But he still leads the Major League Baseball with saves. And that's got to tell you something because we're fighting to 500 in the worst division in baseball. So, man. People are talking about all in this year. Are they going to go all in? Absolutely not. They're not even close to going. They're still can't believe they won the division last year. You know what I mean? And they have to defend it while they still build a consistent contender, for a World Series. We talked about it before we went on air. I think they're at least a year, if not 2025, when they're really at that peak like the Astros are right now, a team like that. Man, no, they're nowhere near going all in for 2023. There's nobody on this damn roster over 23 years old.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
For arbitration for another 3 years, for God's sakes. They don't even get arbitration. Jesus, we're just starting out.
Yeah, and what I was going to say, at one point, and we don't know what's going to happen with the rotation with Cal Quantrill and versus, why can't I think of Logan Allen? I couldn't think of his last name for some reason.
Logan Allen, right?
Yeah. Well, but you had 3 rookies have pitched. Well, 2 of them have pitched significant innings, and that's good job, Miles Straw. You had a great shot there, you dickhead. Anyway, and a little bit of animosity towards first Miles Straw from me, but you had 3 rookies in your rotation at one point. You sent Logan Hall down, or Logan Allen. Oh my God. And I think, they've talked about it. It's a lot to do with like inning management and things like that, and just kind of making sure they don't overdo it. Like Rogers talked about, you're not used to throwing this many innings and playing this many games and all of that stuff from your pitchers. But Bivey's had to play significant, pitch significant innings. Gavin Williams is now up doing that. And Logan Allen may come back. So you're looking at points, 3/5 of your rotation have been rookies. Good rookies, which is just how blessed are the Guardians that they lost Tristan McKenzie. He's only played 2 games, and only one of them was any good. Yeah. He only pitched 1 good game right now, and they're fine. Pitching has not been the problem. And, Trevor Steffen's struggling right now, but he's still got a sub-3. You're looking at all of that, and you're saying, yeah, that's not a team that's all in. But that's a team that has talent and can get hot. And all of this experience will pay off, I think, eventually.
you know what? When we came on the show last week, we were kind of down, I think, a little bit, just because going 2-4, we were hoping to at least split, right? But then you come back and in your previous 2 series, you played some pretty good baseball. You had a clunker against the Cubs where you lose 6-0, but you also turned it right around on them. So I was really encouraged, and I think I was listening to a lot of people that I respect talk about baseball recently, and they said when the Braves come to town, just dial down the expectations just a little bit. And I mean that hurts to hear, but I think it's okay to acknowledge when all we heard last year was about how young the Guardians were, how they were the youngest team in most of sports, right? And so then I think that whole narrative seems to have really been pushed away because of the winning the division and being ahead of expectations.
Right,
but it's important. I think it's important to keep in mind that it's not like 1 year to the next is not going to be the like Roger said.
Progress isn't always linear.
Yeah, and you're not even close to arbitration at this point for most of these guys. This is just the beginning of a window.
Yeah. The shortstop that is on this roster when we win a World Series, he's not even on the 40-man roster, I don't believe.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They're right there building this team. And that's when you'll see him maybe next year at the trade deadline where they need one piece to get over the hump. They're not one player or 2 players away from winning, a World Series. They're just young, man. They're a young team, and everybody's seen it. You take 3 starters and put them in the rotation every day right now, and you're not going to get to October with them. They're gonna run out of gas. Logan Allen's pitch count went up almost double. His numbers are good, but he's throwing a lot of pitches. They're jumping all over him early, and they're just working the count on him, and they had to slow down his pitch. How many pitches he was throwing? He wouldn't make September.
Side note: I was yesterday. I was playing MLB The Show while I listened to the Cubs game, and I threw a perfect game with Shane Bieber. I'm just saying. That is a thing that happened. I threw a perfect. I've thrown no hitters before. I've never thrown a perfect game. I did throw a perfect game on the Xbox yesterday. So maybe Shane Bieber's going to throw a perfect game soon or something. Put some money on that. Take it to the damn bank. Yeah, it's just take it to the bank. And it as dangerous as Atlanta's offense is right now. You're sitting there having held them to 4 runs, and unless something happened that I missed, and I don't know, man. Just get these guys at bats, get these guys innings, get everything. See what happens, but get these guys in a place to where if something happens in October, great. If not, next year they're a lot better team because of the things and the development that they put into 2020.
Oh, absolutely, all the chemistry and winning and losing together, and probably I have them winning the division this year again and getting to the postseason and going 5 games in the division series or 7. Just that experience is priceless for them because next year, they're going to be even more mature and they're going to be even better ball players and even more cohesive. And I heard it today that it was Josh Naylor. He said, "Hey, man, we came back. We just really like each other. We enjoy playing baseball for each other." That's what Naylor said this morning on my way to work. I heard it when they asked him about the comeback. And he had a couple of bobbles and he, last night, and he come through. And he said, "We enjoy playing together, man. We enjoy winning for each other." And you got to love that, man.
On that note, which feels like a really positive one, and one I just want to say I still believe in this team to win the division as well. We need, before we get out of here, to make a prediction.
Yeah, that's right.
What I was going to say. I can tell it's getting dark. I know that Roger's son is ready to light a field on fire.
Yes.
So, an update. Nick is 0-3. Do not take Nick's word to the bank. Roger and I, not much better. 1-2. 1-2. I had, what did I have? That was 2 weeks ago. I had that they would sweep the A's. That's my one win. And Roger said that Bo would homer against Kansas City, and that's his one win.
Sure did.
So that is our of our 9 predictions, those are the 2 that were 3, 6, 9. Yes, those are the 2 that Roger wasn't even here. Roger wasn't even here for the prediction that won. He just texted it to me later. So because of that, Roger, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to let you go for your prediction over the next week of Guardians baseball.
Oh, so I won that? My prediction, you guys the only one that got it?
Yeah, last week, yeah.
Last week's. Oh, I didn't know you got the text. All right.
There you go.
I told you I got the text.
Yeah, that was when? I was
it was like a week ago, yeah. It was like last Monday.
Boy, oh boy, I got to come up with a new one. You know what? I think I can't even go with your guy, Quantrill. Geez.
Well,
over the next all right. Let's say Quantrill's next start, because he got kind of beat up. He got kind of beat up. I mean, he's going to bounce back. He's going to pitch 5 innings and give up 1 run. How about that?
Oh, wow.
5 innings, 1 run, 4 strikeouts.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. That's the eternal optimist because he's struggling. So
let's
hope that comes true.
It was funny too because like his start started pretty good, and he was talking about how good he felt, and then it just fell.
Right. And then let's also remember the last time I got that precise on a pitcher, he ended up going back down to sent back down to Columbus.
Yeah,
that was Allen. So
he did not. Yeah, he did.
I might be the bad luck charm for pitchers.
Maybe. I'm gonna go pitching, but I'm gonna go with the dude that is throwing real good right now, and that's Aaron Savali, man. Like he's continuing to pitch really well. I think he'll go another 7 innings of 3 runs or less. So another quality start, 7 innings of 3 runs or less in his next start.
I like that prediction. I could go really in depth with stats, but I'm still upset that the 1 week I did not predict first place, I was correct. I would have been correct. So I'm going back to the well because technically it's still the top of the 9th right now. We're still in first place. And when we are sitting here again next week, we're going to be in first place. That's it. I won't be denied.
Hey man, you'll get one of the dubs, and then we're just gonna have to retire it because I feel
we're
like
gonna celebrate.
You're phoning it in. You're cheating. I think.
I feel like I believe in this team. I still believe in them, and I think they're gonna get there.
I'm not knocking you for believing in them. I'm knocking in you for just going back to the same old thing.
You know what? Because it felt. I knew it was gonna happen. Right? They were chomping at the bit. They were getting hot. The bats were good. The stats were telling us it was going to happen. And then the second I don't get to predict it, it happens. So I need the satisfaction. I need it.
I'll give it to you.
Fair enough.
Roger, you got any parting words?
Man, just sit back and enjoy baseball, man. Just sit back and enjoy it. Every night is a fantastic ride, man. We're in this thing. Who cares what the division is, how good or bad this? Sit back and enjoy some baseball.
I just want to say shout out to Cleveland and all the fans. I saw the stadium sold out today. It's packed. You know that's a fun environment, and to see people going down there in droves and attendance is still up across the board. That's awesome to see. It really is, and so I'm proud of our fellow fan. With that being said, this has been an episode of Living the Guard Life. I'm Nick. He's Jacob. That's Roger. Thanks for living the Guard Life with us.
Did you know that Australia is actually wider than the moon?